All praises to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and peace to everyone joining me on this program. This is the Fountain of Israel's Bible Studies program, and as always, it's an honor for me to stand before you on the Lord's holy Sabbath day. Now today, as with every year, we're not in an ordinary Sabbath. We are in the Most High's annual or high Sabbath, one of his appointed times or his moedims, right? And this one is the first one of the year, of the Hebrew calendar, right? Of the year, which happens in the Gregorian calendar, happens in the spring. So welcome back. This is about Passover. So we're going to look at Passover in the scriptures and learn, the meaning of it and just kind of go throughout the scriptures. And this time, this version, I'll be teaching out of the scriptures version of the Bible. Okay, we're going to go out of the scriptures version of the Bible. Now, with that being said, one of the first things we're going to do is start in Leviticus, what we normally do, and that's Wa'ikra, and that's chapter 23 of Wa'ikra. And we're going to go ahead and walk through the scriptures. We're going to do, a lot of Old Testament. We're going to have some New Testament. We teach from the whole Bible. And so before we even get started, let me just thank all you guys for joining. Okay, I appreciate all you guys joining joining me and listening to the word. I am honored and blessed that you guys want to do that. Also, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe so we can kind of get this message out there. I don't know what's going on with the algorithm, ladies and gentlemen, but if you don't mind, please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. And check the description box also, if you will. So, with that being said, and without any further ado, I'm going to start over in Leviticus or Wa'ikra 23. And we're going to start at verse 1. So, let's see what we have here, right? Talking about the Passover, right? And it says, and Yah, okay, and it's the tetragrammaton right there, guys. So, some people say Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahuwah, all that, right? So I just shorten it to Yah, okay, because that's the only one most of us can agree on. So I just use that one, right? So I'll just say Yah. And Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the children of Yisrael and say to them, the appointed times of Yah, which you are to proclaim as set apart gatherings. My appointed times are these. And so he kind of goes into his appointed times. What are these moedims, right? He goes into that. He says 6 days works, all right? So every seventh day, which we call Saturday, every seventh day is an appointed time, right? Because he starts with that. 6 days of work is done, but the seventh day is a Sabbath of rest. A set apart gathering, you do no work. It is a Sabbath to Yah in all your dwellings, right? So you rest. These are the appointed times of Yah, set apart gatherings, which you are to proclaim at their appointed times, right? In the first new moon, on the 14th day of the new moon, and that's what this is, the first new moon of the year, and in the Hebrew calendar, that is in the spring, okay? You count 14 days, okay? It says, in the first new moon, or new month, on the 14th day of the new moon, or new month, between the evening is the Passah of Yah, okay, which is the Passover, right, which is Passah of Yah. And the 15th day of this new moon is the festival of Matzat. And Yah, 7 days you eat unleavened bread, okay, so you have the Passover, you're talking about unleavened bread because it's connected. In fact, the Passover kicks off the 7 days of unleavened bread. Okay, so that's why they're interconnected, because it kicks it off, right? And it says, on the first day you have a set apart gathering. Okay, that's what you're doing right now. You have a set apart gathering, and you do no servile work, right? Work for pay. The reason why I point that out, ladies and gentlemen, is because when we prepare for Passover or any of these high holy days, except for atonement, you have to cook, right? You have to cook, you have to prepare, you have to put stuff together, and then you have to work. Like some people who are gathering on their land, gathering on their property, things like that. You have to prepare things. So you will have to cook. You will have to kind of warm things up, right? And then you have to work. You have to set up the ground, set the tables, all that other stuff, right? You have to do all these things to prepare to observe and celebrate this, but it's not work for pay. So that's why no servile work, right? So just kind of look at it like that. No work for pay for this. But you're gonna have to work and have to do something. And I say that because some people get so dogmatic and everything to where you can't do anything practically, right? So they get so dogmatic. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and continue from there. I'm going to back up a little bit from here because I just wanted to read up to verse 7. But from here, we want to go to Exodus or Shemot. And I'm going to chapter 12 in Shemot, right? We're going to chapter 12 and we're going to start at verse 11. Okay, so we're going to go to 12. And we're going to read a big clip of it. This is where it starts here. So we're going to go 12 and verse 11. Okay. Exodus or Shemot. 11 says this. And this is how you eat it. Your loins girded or covered, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And ye shall eat it in haste, in a hurry. It is the Passah of Yah, right? It's the Passover of Yah. And I shall pass through the land of Mitzrayim, or Egypt, of Mitzrayim on that night, and shall strike all the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, both man and beast, and on all the mighty ones of Mitzrayim I shall execute judgment. I am Yah. And the blood shall be a sign for you on the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I shall pass over you, and let the plague not come on you to destroy you when I strike the land of Mitzrayim. And this day shall become to you a remembrance. That's what we're supposed to do, right? A remembrance. And you shall celebrate it as a festival to Yah throughout your generations. Exactly. Celebrate it as a festival, an everlasting law. What does it say? Celebrate that as an everlasting law. Right? And you're doing it for remembrance, because you're going to get the naysayers and going to say, oh, well, we can't really do it. Okay, because we're Messianic in this particular ministry. We're Messianic. So, no, we're not going to go kill a lamb, right? But we're going to do this in remembrance. And throughout this lesson, I'll say, okay, try this, do that, or this is what I do, that kind of thing, right? Or this is what some other camps and some other patriarchal families do and stuff like that. I'll let you know what I've seen personally, right? Throughout this lesson. Because you're going to get some people, you're going to get some naysayers. Well, we can't really do it. I mean, it's the same thing Christians say about not doing the law, right? They say, well, we can't really, and we're not in our land. I get it. This is for remembrance, okay? This is for remembrance. And they were not in their land right here either. This first one did take place in their land. And all the ones they did for 40 years when they kept the Passover in its appointed time was not in their land. So, stop, okay? Stop the cap. Do not let these butter muffins out here try to trick you into not just even memorializing, just remembering, just learning the lesson, getting deeper into the study. And for you to have the audacity to say, you know what, I'm gonna get a little bread and wine, I might even, roast some lamb or something like that or whatever. It's not for the sacrifice, but it's like the Gentiles when they do these Civil War reenactments and stuff like that. That's all you're doing. You're just remembering what the Most High did. I didn't say you were keeping it perfectly, but you're remembering, right? It's just a reenactment, right? Okay, but you're going to get people who are going to be naysayers because they don't want to, and then they're going to tell you not to. Let's keep it moving. Okay? 14. And this day shall become to you a what? Remembrance, and ye shall celebrate it as a festival to Yah throughout your generations. Celebrate it as a festival and everlasting law. 15. 7 days ye shall eat unleavened bread. Okay, for 7 days. Not the Passover, not that day, but 7 days after that, right? 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. Indeed, on the first day you cause leaven to cease from your houses. For whosoever eats leavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, that being shall be cut off from Israel, right? So all the leavening, okay, but we're talking about Passover, but it's linked to unleavened bread because immediately the next day, okay, by the time you're done with your Passover meal and all that, and the next day, it should be no leaven in your home, right? Should be no leavening or leavening agents in your home. Now, some other places, we'll get to it, okay, but where we are right now, no leavening it just found in your home, your yeast and, stuff like that. No leavening, right? So you have to read labels. Okay, and he says 16. And on the first day is a set apart gathering. So on the first day you gather together, right? And on the seventh day, you have a set apart gathering. On the last day, you have a set apart gathering. Because I know people, they contact me all the time. Hey, I'm by myself. I don't have it. Is there anywhere I can go? Yeah, there's different, different places you can go. I would love for you guys to, join me, but I don't have land like that and I can't do that, right? But there are some organizations where you can get together with them and meet up with them, right? So it depends. It depends on where you are, right? It depends on where you are. But there's some places out there, some classes, I should say, that you can gather with them. Even if for the feast day, just do that, okay? And I don't mind plugging a few of them either. One of them, Israel of God. So look them up. They have camps, throughout the U.S., not in every state, but just figure out what you, where you are, where they are, and what you want to do for that. And then, of course, you have communities, and which I can't invite you to them. I mean, these are personal communities, and then they have camps and stuff like that. Which some of the camps I won't recommend you go there, nothing like that. But if you want to gather with people, then hey, you do what you want. And I'm not badmouthing camps and stuff like that. I'm saying it because I've never been there personally, so I'm not gonna say anything good or bad. But I have been to, maybe it's a patriarchal family, been to their land. I've done that, right? I've did my own at home. I've done my own with my family, and we do that. So I'm just giving you ideas. I've been to the class. I said. I'm sorry, the Israel of God. I've been to theirs. I've been to their feast days. So I'm speaking on what I do know. I'm not going to speak on what I don't know, right? So, let's see here. Verse 16. He said, on the first day is a set apart gathering. On the seventh day, you have a set apart gathering. Okay. No work at all is done on them. Only that which is eaten by every being, that alone is prepared by you. See, so you can cook, okay? No work. It says no work at all, but the work you need to do to prepare this for you and yours, okay? Or if we're gathered all together, that's okay. You can do that, okay? That you're preparing for this, right? It says it right here for you. And saying, you shall guard the festival of Matzah. For on this day I brought you division out of the land of Mitzrayim. Now notice it said of matzah, talking about unleavened bread, right? Passover and unleavened bread are linked, right? So they're interchanged sometime. And you shall guard this day throughout your generations, an everlasting law. And in the first month, on the 14th day of the new moon, in the evening, okay? You shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the new moon in the evening. For 7 days, no leaven is to be found in your houses. For if anyone eats what is leavened, okay, and it says, for 7 days, no leaven is to be found in your houses. For if anyone eats what is leavened, that same being shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether sojourner or native of the land, okay? Do not eat that which is leavened. So your cookies, your breads, your muffins and donuts and all that, you can't eat that, okay? Most crackers and things like that, unless it has no leavening in it, no leavening agents or yeast in it, right? None of those. Okay, it says what? In 19, and for 7 days no leaven is to be found in your houses. For if anyone eats what is leavened, the same being shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel. Whether the sojourner of native to the land, do not eat that which is leavened. In all your dwellings you are to eat unleavened bread. And Moshe called for the elders of Israel and said to them, go out and take lambs for yourselves according to your clans, and slay the Passah. And ye shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the two doorposts with the blood that is in the basin. And none of you shall go out of the door of his house until morning, until you have morning light, right? So this happens at night, right? Until morning. And Yah shall pass on to smite the Mizrites, all right? And shall see the blood on the lintel and on the two doorposts, and Yah shall pass over the door and not allow the destroyer, the death angel, to come into your houses to smite you. And you shall guard this word as a law for you and your sons forever, right? And 25. And it shall be when you come to the land which Yah gives you, as he promised, that you shall guard his service. And it shall be when your children say to you, what does the service mean to you? Then you shall say, it is the Passah slaughtering of Yah, right? It's the Passover. Who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Mizraim when he smote the Mizrites and delivered our household. And the people bowed their heads and did obeisance. Okay? And the children of Israel went away and did so, and Yah had Yah commanded Moshe and Aharon, so they did. Okay? You guys with me so far? All right. 29. And it came to be at midnight that Yah struck all the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, from the firstborn to Pharaoh, who sat on his throne, to the firstborn of the captive, who was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of livestock. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, and he and all his servants and all the Mitzrites, and there was a great cry in Mitzrayim, for there was not a house where there was not a dead one. Then he called for Moshe and Aharon by the night and said, arise and go out from the midst of my people, both you and the children of Israel, and go serve Yah as you have said. Take both your flocks and your herds as you have said, and go. Then you shall bless me too. Meaning, going to lift this whole plague, right? It's going to help me. If you leave, this is going to help me out, help me and my people, right? And the Mizrites were strong on the people to hasten to send them away out of the land, for they said, we are all dying, right? Get these Israelites out of here, basically. 34. And the people took their dough before it was leavened, having their kneading bowls bound up in their garments on their shoulders. And the children of Israel had done according to the word of Moshe, and they had asked for the Mizrites objects of silver and objects of gold and garments. And Yah gave the people favor in the eyes of the Mitzrites, so that they gave them what they asked, and they plundered. See, that's learning something on the way to learning something. Sometimes the Most High will bless you through other people, right? Even if they were your enemies, you can get blessed through them. But that's just learning something on the way of learning something, right? 37. And the children of Israel set out from Ramesses to Sukkot, about 600,000 men on foot besides the little ones. And a mixed multitude went up with them, also flocks and herds, very much livestock. That's another thing, okay? When Israel came out, they came out a mixed multitude, right? So keep that in mind. That's learning something the way of learning something. And 39, and they baked unleavened cakes of the dough which they had brought out of Mitzrayim. So you have unleavened bread today. There's plenty of recipes. You just look it up. There's a lot. Even our Latin brothers and stuff, they can make a tortilla. You can make tortilla without adding leavening agents and stuff, right? So same thing, right? So just keep that in mind and look them up. Look up some of the recipes. Real simple. Flour, water. I mean, you guys, you get it. And they bake unleavened cakes of dough which they had brought out of Mitzrayim, for it was not leavened, since they were driven out of Mitzrayim and had not been able to delay, nor had they prepared food for themselves, right? So they were not ready, right? So I'm going to stop at 39, right? So I'm just want to give you an idea. First Passover, when it happened, what happened when it happened, right? This is during that Egyptian captivity, and they had to get up out of there. And then he told them, the Most High, he told them to do it as a memorial. Do this in remembrance throughout your generations. Teach your sons. This is an everlasting law. What part are we not getting it? See, when we're able to do something, we need to go ahead and do it. There'll be times in our life when we're not able, like in slavery. It's like they couldn't, like for example, slavery, a lot of them lost their identity. Many of them knew who they were. But the ones after a number of generations who lost their identity or whatever, they couldn't say to massa and say, you know what, I think I want to keep this Sabbath. I need to keep this whole Sabbath thing, if you don't mind. No, it wasn't going down like so. When you couldn't, when you were not in a position where you could, right? But if you can, do it. We're not in that slavery situation, right? We're not in that abject humiliation. It's not like that right now. I'm not saying that on some level we're not in captivity. I'm not saying we're not in captivity. We are. We are in captivity, right? I'm not saying we're not. What I'm saying is that if you're able to do something for the Most High Yah, you need to do it. Okay? you need to do it. So we're going to go ahead and go to Matthew 16. Okay, we're going to go to Matthew 16. All right. If you get some understanding, give me a 100 down below. Comment, let me know you're starting to get something, starting to wake you up a little bit. Okay. Matthew 16 or Matthew 16. I'm going to start at verse 6, if you will. Let's go 6 through 12. So 6 says this. And Yeshua said to them, mind and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, because we brought no bread. But Yeshua, aware of this, said to them, O you of little belief, why do you reason among yourselves, because you brought no bread? Do you still not understand? Neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000 and how many baskets you picked up? Or the 7 loaves of the 4,000 and how many large baskets you picked up? How is it that you do not understand that I did not speak of the concerning of bread, but to beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees? Then they understood that he did not say to beware of the leaven of bread, but of the teaching of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. And so I wanted to bring that up because we have that right now. You may come from maybe, Sunday Christianity, and you may come from that situation where they're teaching you something different, right? They're teaching you something. They're not teaching you about Passover. They teach you about Easter, but they're not teaching you about Passover. Right? So then when you go to them and you try to tell them about Passover because, well, I don't know, it's in the Bible. I don't see anywhere where any of them observe Easter. I know they're going to go to the King James and I know they're going to say, oh, right here, this word means Easter, but they never really look behind the word, look at the definition. And of course, it was talking about Passover, but that's something else. We see them observing Passover. We don't see them observing Easter. And is Easter pagan or not? You see what I'm saying? You see the difference? Is Easter pagan or not? So if it is, if you do determine, or look it up, if you do determine the origins of Easter is pagan, why would the Israelites be doing it? So what we should be focusing on is Passover. That's where we should be right now. Okay? We should be focusing on that. We should be focusing on what's thus says the Yah, what thus says Yeshua, HaMashiach. But are they doing that? Is that where you got this from? Right? So let me see. I read that 12. Yeah, he says, so don't do that. So don't believe in Pharisees and the Sadducees. What they're talking about, their teachings, their doctrine. So some of you guys are new. Most of you guys have been around for a while. No big deal. But some of you guys are new. I'm telling you right now, you're going to get this revelation of Passover and all the feast days and stuff. And you're going to go and tell somebody. And it's going to backfire on you. You're going to be like, oh, whoa, I thought this was obvious. I thought, wow, your eyes are opening right now, which is great. God bless you. But everyone's eyes are not going to be open to this. It's just not. They're too indoctrinated. And what we got to understand sometime is this, and we'll move on. We'll go over to Mark 8. But what we got to understand is that people have this particular reality bubble. And when you come around trying to teach something else and they're not ready, they're going to defend that reality bubble. They don't want you to pop it. Today we call it cognitive dissonance, right? So you can have something dead to rights. It's right there, plain, black and white. You can show them word for word. It does not matter. If they're not ready to hear it, they're going to be like, nope. Now see, well, because that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a shuffle, a dance, some moonwalking. You're gonna get all that, but they're just not going to believe you. They're not going to accept it. They're not going to do. They're just not gonna do it. And I'm sure some of you guys have already experienced that. But let's move on to Mark chapter 8. I'm gonna pick it up at 11. Okay, 11 and 21. 11 says this. And the Pharisees came out and began to dispute with him, seeking from him a sign from heaven, trying him. And sighing deeply in his spirit, he said, why does this generation seek a sign? Truly I say to you, no sign shall be given to this generation. And leaving them again, entering into the boat, he went away to the other side. And they had forgotten to take bread, and they did not have more than one loaf with them in the boat. And he was warning them, saying, mind, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the leaven of the Herodes. And they were reasoning with one another, saying, because we have no bread. And Yeshua, being aware of it, saying to them, why do you reason because you have no bread? Do you not yet perceive nor understand? Is your heart still hardened? Okay. Having eyes, you do not see. And having ears, you do not hear. And you do not remember. Okay. Now, before I move on, let me just say real quickly. That's what happens, okay, when you try to reason with someone, you try to talk to them, right? You try to give them the truth of scripture. You may be talking about Torah. You may be talking about one of these Moedims or these feast days and stuff like that. And they're just not, they have eyes, they don't see. It doesn't matter that you show it to them in scriptures. They have ears, they do not hear. They just don't get it. That's that cognitive dissonance that I was telling you about, right? And let's go on over to 19. And when I broke the 5 loaves for the 5,000, how many baskets filled with broken pieces did you pick up? They said to him, 12. And when I broke the 7 for the 4,000, how many large baskets filled with broken pieces did you pick up? And they said, 7. And he said unto them, how do you not understand? He's like, how do you not understand? Why do you not get it? Why are you not getting this? I'm not talking about bread. If it was bread, we can provide that. I'm not telling you watch out for that. I'm telling you watch out for the stuff people are going to say to you. Watch out for these Pharisees and Sadducees and the Herodes. Watch out for them. Because they're going to tell you something different. I'm telling you, watch out for those who are going to tell you, don't worry about it. Don't observe it. Don't remember it. Oh, we're not in our land. You ain't really doing it right. And all this other stuff. For over 40 years, they were not in their land and they did it. And it's just done in remembrance. Now, I'm not telling you to go kill a lamb. Even though there's some camps out there that they go do that. They go kill a lamb. Some people try to trek over to Jerusalem. I don't recommend it, but if you want to make a trip to Jerusalem, okay, go ahead. You know, you don't have a Levitical priesthood or any, but you know, if that's what you want to do, go ahead. I mean, because the reason why I'm not going to stop you is because you're trying to do it in remembrance. So if they're trying, why would I stop you from you trying? You see what I'm saying? So if they're trying, then if I'm not gonna stop you, I ain't gonna stop them. You try. You're doing it in remembrance. You know when we're gonna get this thing right? I'm gonna tell you exactly when we're gonna get this thing right. We're gonna get this thing right when the Messiah returns. Because there will be no arguing then. There'll be no debate then. We'll be doing it exactly right. In the meantime, put on your family reunion t-shirt telling the Messiah that you belong to him and practice and rehearse. This is the dress rehearsal. This is where you learn your lines. This is where you try to get it right, like little children. This is where you come to him like little children to try to get it right. This is the time. The time is now, right? That you're at least striving to enter in. And you'll see me say that throughout a bunch of different lessons, right? This is that time. So keep trying. I'm never going to tell you to just don't try. Don't at least try to appease our God. Don't even try to serve our Messiah. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to tell you to try. To put in some effort, because it's not going to be easy. Because guess who wants you to give up? The enemy. He don't want you to try. You think the enemy wants you to try? You think the enemy wants you to put in any effort of being righteous, walking in holiness? You think he wants you to have any, or would he be, what's the use? You can't get it right. What do you think he's going to say? What do you think he wants? Most High wants you to do this. The enemy wants you to do something else. Now, a quick note, a quick aside, the enemy Is Satan, society, or yourself? Satan, society, or self? You decide. Let's move on. Okay, we are over in Mark. Let's go to Numbers. Okay, let's go on over to Numbers. Let's go on over to Bamidbar. Bamidbar. Let's go to Numbers 33. Some people say Bimidbar, but let's go to Bamidbar 33, or Numbers 33. Just read the first 3 verses. It says, these are the departures of the children of Israel who went out of the land of Mitzrayim by their divisions under the hand of Moshe and Aharon. And Moshe wrote down the starting points of their departures at the mouth of Yah. And these are their departures according to their starting points. So they departed from Ramesses in the first new moon, or new month, on the 15th day of the first new moon, on the morrow of the Passah, the children of Israel went out with boldness before the eyes of all the Mitzrayim, before the eyes of, so it's just letting you know, okay? On the 15th day, they left, okay? On the 14th, it was a Passover, eating their thing, eating Passover and all this other stuff, right? After that, but it's showing you, okay? So, we're moving. Exodus, right? We're going to go to 13, right? Exodus or Shemot 13. And when we get 13, we're going to start at verse 1. So Exodus 13, we're going to start at 1. We got 1 through 10, and it reads this way. And Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, set apart to me all the firstborn, the one opened in the womb among the children of Israel, among man and among beasts. It is mine. And Moshe said unto the people, remember this day in which you went out of Mitzrayim, out of the house of slavery. For by strength of the hand of Yah brought you out of this place, and whatever is leavened shall not be eaten. Today you are going out in the new moon, Abib. And it shall be when Yah brings you into the land of the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Amorites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, which he swore to your fathers to give you, a land flowing with milk and honey, that you shall keep this service in the new moon. Remember, I'm reading this from the Scriptures Version Bible. 7 days you eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day is a festival to Yah. Unleavened bread is to be eaten the 7 days, and whatever is leavened is not to be seen in you. Whatever is leavened, so that kind of answers the question. People say, okay, so is it just the yeast and the leavening agents, and throw that out? But it says whatever is leavened, whatever is already leavened or has risen, right? So, again, your cakes, your donuts, and all, just read the label, okay? Just read the label. And your breads and all that stuff. So just read the label. Okay, and it says over here, unleavened, it's 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day is a festival to Yah. Unleavened bread is to be eaten the 7 days, and whatsoever is leavened is not to be seen with you, and leaven is not to be seen with you within all your borders. Okay, that's yours, right? And you shall inform your son in that day, saying, it is because of what Yah did for me when I came up from Mitzrayim. Okay, so that's verse 8. So I just want to say real quick, in all your dwellings, right? I say in your dwellings, in your domain, right? So some people, they say, okay, well, what should we do? All right, when it's leading up to Passover, it's coming, and you got to get rid of all your leaven. So, okay, you want a week before, 2 weeks before, you want to start eating and consuming all your leaven stuff, so you don't have to throw it away, right? So you want to consume all that. Don't re-up, okay? Don't buy any more leavened stuff until after those 7 days of unleavened bread, right? So you don't want to have any of that. Now, some of you guys may get caught, right? You'll be like, oh man, dang, I didn't have time to prepare. I'm working hard, all that, right? So what you can do, some of you may have like a storage unit or whatever, right? You don't live there, okay? You don't live in your store. I hope not, but typically you don't live in your storage unit, right? That's off your properties in your storage unit. Go put your leavened items into the storage, right? Or if you have a relative who don't keep Passover or anything like that you trust, you bring all your leavened stuff over to their house, or a neighbor or somewhere, but just get it out of your house. It should not be in your dwellings, right? So I just want you to keep that in mind. So I told you in this lesson, the difference is, one, I'm reading from the scriptures, and two, I'll tell you how to keep it, or best practices, as we go along. Okay, so we're, let's see here. I am in verse, that was 8. Let's go to 9. And it shall be a sign to you on your hand and as a reminder between your eyes that the Torah of Yah is to be in your mouth. For with a strong hand Mitzrayim has brought you out of Mitzrayim. With a strong hand Yah has brought you out of Mitzrayim, or Egypt. Okay. And then the last verse I'm going to read, it says, and you shall guard this law at its appointed time from year to year. So you got to do this, and guard it mean do it from year to year. Every year you're going to do this. Every year you're going to do this. And remember, brothers and sisters, teach your children. Teach your children what Passover is. Put them in front of a lesson like this and teach them what it is. Okay? It is the day when the Messiah, the Most High, and Yeshua, okay, he's our Passover lamb, set us free from those sins, right? Forgave us, put on a new lease on life, okay? Gave us this blood covenant, this contract to say, okay, I will be your God, you will be my people. This blood is paying for your sins. Now, walk in righteousness. That's what it means. Okay, so the debt is being paid, and then when unleavened bread is, meaning getting the leaven out, it's symbolic of getting the sin out of your life. Walking in the newness of life. Teach this to your children. Teach it to your children, generation after generation after generation. Let's keep it pushing. Let's go back to 12 real quick. We're going to read 12 and 19. Exodus or Shemot 12 and 19. 19 says this. For 7 days no leaven is to be found in your houses. For if anyone eats what is leavened, that same being shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether sojourner or native to the land. So not found in your houses, right? So out in the storage unit somewhere, go put it out there. Go get rid of it. Okay. Now the best thing is just consuming before Passover gets there. Just consuming and don't buy anymore until after the Feast of Unleavened Bread is over. But if some of you get caught, have a plan B to go take it somewhere, right? So you don't have to waste it. Some of you guys might just, throw it away or whatever, and may not feel no type of way about it. But others don't want to waste money. Inflation is bad out there. Okay, inflation is real high, so just throwing away money is not a good idea. But we're gonna go ahead and go to Isaiah 66. Okay, let's go to Isaiah 66. All right. Okay. Well, Yeshayahu, right? Yeshayahu or Isaiah. So 66. And when I get to Yeshayahu or Isaiah 66, I want to read 2 through 3. Verse 2 says this. And all these my hand is made, and all these that exist declares Yah. Yet to such a one I look, on him who is poor and bruised of spirit, and who trembles at my word. But whoever slays the bull strikes a man. Whoever slaughters the lamb breaks a dog's neck. Whoever brings a grain offering, pig's blood. Whoever burns incense blesses an idol. Indeed, they have chosen their own ways, and their being delights in their abominations. Now, the reason they said that is because people kind of want to do it the way they want to do it, right? They want to go ahead and observe it. Okay, your truth is your truth. My truth is my truth. Yah don't play like that. The Messiah don't play like that. Do it the way I told you, or don't do it at all. And all you're trying to do is emulate what is written, right? Now, again, if you're Messianic, you're not killing a lamb, okay? I'm not saying you can't eat some, but you're not killing, if you want to have this Passover meal and that meal includes lamb, that's fine. But you're not going to sacrifice a lamb because you have the Messiah. But everything else, you're trying to emulate. That's when in the New Testament, one of the emulations is the foot washing and stuff like that. You can do that as well. Okay, you can do that as well. He's just saying, okay, when you get in Isaiah and you read this is how they're just doing what they want to do and not doing what he prescribed. They just going their own way, their own imagination. Let's go ahead and do this. So if you're not going to do it the way I asked you, because Israel had a history of just going astray, doing it how they wanted to do, or emulating other gods and other cultures, emulating them. Well, they kind of do it like this. I'll give you an example. It's kind of like keeping Passover and Easter. No. That simple. No. Nay. We're not doing that. Right? So let's go ahead and continue. And I'm still in Yeshayahu or Isaiah. We can go all the way back to chapter 1. Let's go all the way back. Right? Go to chapter 1. And let's see. I'm starting at 11. I'm going to read 11 through 15. It says, of what use to me are your many slaughterings, declare Yah. I have had enough of ascending offerings of rams and the fat of fed beasts. I do not delight in the blood of bulls or of lambs or goats. When you come to appear before me, who has required this from your hand to trample my courtyards, right? Stop bringing futile offerings, incense. It is an abomination to me. New moon, Sabbaths, the calling of gatherings. I am unable to bear unrighteousness and assembly, right? But notice he said unrighteousness, because some people are, oh, well, see, he don't want us to do it. No. He said, I can't bear unrighteousness. Okay, you're doing all this, but you're doing it in unrighteousness, right? 14. My being hates your new moons and your appointed times, and they are a trouble to me. I am weary of bearing them. He said in 15, and when you spread out your hands, I hide my eyes from you. Even though you make many prayers, I do not hear. Your hands have become filled with blood. See, something wrong, right? So something's wrong right there. But this is what he says in 16. I was going to stop at 15, but we're going to go a little bit further. He says, wash yourselves, make yourselves clean. What did he tell you to do? Put away the evil of your doings from before my eyes. Stop doing evil. Then what does he say in 17? Learn to do good. Seek right ruling. Reprove the oppressor. Defend the fatherless. Plead for the widow. Okay, he's telling you what to do. He said, come now and let us reason together, says Yah. Though your sins are like scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they are red like crimson, they shall be as wool. If you submit and obey, you shall eat the good of the land. But if you refuse and rebel, you shall be devoured by the sword, for the mouth of Yah has spoken. So stop doing it your way. You've been doing it how you've been doing it how you want to do it, and thought you were going to get away with it, but you didn't get away with it. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of you mixing and matching all these other little traditions, all this other little extra stuff you putting on there, whatever. And no, I don't want. No, that's not what I want. I don't want it. I'm tired of your feast. He said, I'm not. He's not tired of his. He's tired of yours, the way you want to do it. Tired of your gatherings because y'all ain't, you're not trying to do it right. I heard a rumor of how a particular group was keeping, the feast, and it was unseemly. But since it's not verified, I'm not going to name names or point anything out. But it's an example of how they, how they were keeping the feast and everything. They said there was a lot of inappropriate things going on, right? So, but since I didn't verify, notice I didn't say no name or anything like that. I'm not going to do that. But that's an example of if you've been keeping the feast and you got a lot of inappropriate activity going on, then you don't respect the Most High. Don't respect that. The Most High does not respect that. So he's going to be like, yeah, I'm tired of your feast. I'm tired of your gathering. Y'all gather together. Y'all doing all kinds of crazy stuff. The Israelites at the bottom of that mountain, they set apart a feast, right? Made themselves a golden calf. Of course, I'm sick of that. I mean, I know it was the first one, but again, he was okay. I don't want that. No, no, thank you. Right? So let's keep it moving. We're going to go back, all the way back to Exodus or Shemot. Okay, let's get on back over here to Shemot, Exodus chapter 20. And we're going to read first 6 verses. Okay, so Exodus 20. Okay, Exodus 21 through 6. Elohim spoke all these words, saying, I am Yah, your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of slavery. You have no other mighty ones against my face. And do not make for yourselves a carved image or any likeness of that which is in the heavens above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. You do not bow down to them, nor serve them, for I, Yah, your Elohim, am a jealous El, visiting the crookedness of the fathers on the children to the 3rd and 4th generation of those who hate me, but showing the loving commitment to thousands to those who love me and guard my commands. You do not bring the name of Yah, your Elohim, to naught. For Yah does not leave the one unpunished who brings his name to naught. And what else he says? Remember the Sabbath day to set it apart. 6 days you labor and shall do all your work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of Yah your Elohim. Do not do any work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within thy gates. Okay. So I just want to get into that. You guys know that is where the 10 Commandments. We know there's more laws than that. This is the Decalogue. All right. This is the 10 Commandments. That's the big 10. He's giving clear instructions. Clear instructions on, the Sabbath and stuff like that. Nobody, not you, not your, nobody. Don't do anything. Okay? Don't bring his name to naught. He wants you to, that's like the first thing. I'm trying to give a basic one. He's telling us to understand and do that and listen and obey to that. He gives some simple stuff. Then we move on to, add in a little more detail. But sometimes we can't even get the simple stuff right. For example, observing the Sabbath. Just don't work. Okay? Don't work. Do some prayers. Don't work. Do a little prayer, maybe a little fasting. Don't work. Do a little prayer if need be, a little fasting if need be. You don't have to fast. You don't have to fast. I'm just saying. Do a little, don't work. Do a little prayer, get in class, gather together. See, just incremental little things, little steps. So I want us to get the basic stuff going. The basics, okay? Let's go on over to Amos. Right? Let's go on over to Amos. Okay. Let's go over to Amos. Famous Amos. There we go. And when we get there, we're going to go to chapter 5. We're going to go to chapter 5. Okay, let's see here. Chapter 5. 1 second. And remember, but Amos is not that big a book, so. Hosea, Joel, Amos. Hosea. There we go, Amos, chapter 5. Little book, almost missed it. Okay, and we read 21 and 22. 5, 21, 22. And he says, well, I have despised your festivals, and I'm not pleased with your assemblies. Though you offer me ascending offers and your grain offerings, I do not accept them, nor do I look on your fattened peace offerings, right? And what you got to do is you got to look at what was Israel doing? What made the Most High upset when this is something that he wanted us to do? He prescribed that as a law, right? So now they're doing it. So why? Well, look at the context. Look at what Israel's doing, walking around in wickedness and things like that. And he starts to reject it. He's like, no, this is not what I ordered. Send it back. Right? So let's go on over to Tehillim, or Psalms. Let's go over to Psalms. Where do we want to go? 40. Let's go to Psalms 40. Right? And I'm going to read the first 6 verses of Psalms 40. Now let's look at it. He said, I waited for Yah, and he inclined to me and heard my cry. And he drew me out of the pit of destruction, out of the muddy clay, and he rested his feet upon a rock. He is establishing my steps. Then he put a new song in my mouth and praise to our Elohim. Many do see it in fear and trust in Yah. Blessed is that man who has made Yah his trust and has not turned to the proud, and those turning aside to falsehood. O Yah, my Elohim, many are the wonders which you have done in your purposes toward us. There is no one to compare with you. I declare and speak, they are too many to be numbered. Slaughtering and meal offerings you did not desire. You have opened my ears. Ascending offerings and sin offerings you did not ask for. Now, that may confuse some people, but it's not really confusing. Let me explain. When we are making an offering, it means we messed up. And if there's no need to make an offering, it means you didn't mess up. So that's what he's saying. He's saying, really, I really didn't want these offerings in the first place, but I put them in place so that I can forgive your sins, so I wouldn't have to kill you. Are we understanding? Does anyone get that? Let me know in the comment section down below. So it's not really confusing. He's just saying, you know what? I don't really want it. And every time I receive it, it means you messed up. Okay, it means that. But I'll go ahead and accept it because I won't have to kill you at this point. Let's keep it pushing. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 10. Let's go to the Ibrim. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 10, or the Ibrim. The Ibrim. Let's see, chapter 10. Okay. And now, when I get there, I'm going to read the first 6 verses. He said, for the Torah, having a shadow of the good matters to come and not the image itself of the matters, was never able to make those who draw near with the same slaughter offerings which they offer continually year by year. Otherwise, would they not have ceased to be offered? Meaning, if it had worked in the first place, you wouldn't have to offer it again if it worked in the first. But no, we had to offer it year by year. Talking about the annual, the Moedim, the annual, the high Sabbath days, right? The high feast days, right? He said, so if killing it and doing it one time would have worked, we wouldn't have to keep doing it over and over and over. Okay? He said, otherwise, would they not have ceased to be offered? Because those who served once cleansed would have had no more consciousness of sin. I mean, they wouldn't have sinned again, right? They wouldn't even do it. But in those offerings is a reminder of sin year by year. What did I just say? It's a reminder of sin. I mean, you messed up, right? Year by year. For it's impossible for the blood of bulls and goats to take away sins. The reason why it's impossible because the blood of bull and goat, the bull and the goat did not do the sin. Okay? It's just this is an atonement. This is just a replacement, right? So it's impossible for that to take it away, which is why we're messianic. Therefore, coming into the world, he says, slaughterings and meal offerings you did not desire, but a body you have prepared for me. In ascending offerings and offerings for sin, you did not delight. Then I said, see, I come. In the roll of the book, it has been written concerning me to do your desire, O Elohim. saying above, slaughter and meal offerings and ascending offerings and offerings for sin you did not desire nor delighted in, which are offered according to the Torah, according to the law. We're doing it according to the law. But then he said, in verse 9, he said, and then he said, see, I come to do your desire, O Elohim. He takes away the first to establish the second, which is where we are now. He took away the first way we did Passover, and now we have the second, which is the bread and wine. Some people, they throw in the, the foot washing and stuff like that to emulate the lamb that we follow, that we fall under and that we follow. Does that make sense? Comment down below if that makes sense. Okay. Now, let's look at Yeshayahu or Isaiah 53. Okay. Take a look at that real quick. Isaiah 53. All right. That's 45 and 53. 1 second. All right, so let's look at Isaiah 53 real quick, and we'll kind of close it out on Isaiah 53, and then we'll go from there. Who has believed our report, and to whom was the arm of Yah revealed? For he grew up before him as a tender plant and as a root out of the dry ground. He has no form or splendor that we should look upon him, nor appearance that we should desire him. Despised and rejected by men, a man of pains and knowing sickness, and as one from whom the face is hidden, being despised, and we did not consider him. Truly, he has borne our sicknesses and carried our pains, and yet we reckon him smitten, stricken by Elohim, and afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions, and he was crushed for our crookedness. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and by his stripes we are healed. We are foreshadowing, this sacrifice of the Messiah, right? We all, like sheep, went astray. Each one of us has turned to his own way. Your truth is your truth. My truth is my truth. No, it doesn't work like that. And Yah has laid on him the crookedness of us all. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, but he did not open his mouth, and he was led as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before its shearers is dumb. But he did not open his mouth. At a certain time, you're gonna get some people who played with that, right? They're gonna play with that, but he didn't necessarily protest against what was happening, to them. Oh, don't kill me, I'm innocent. He didn't say any of that. He didn't do that. He was taken from prison and from judgment, and as for his generation, who considered that he shall be cut off from the land of the living, for the transgression of my people he was stricken, and he was appointed a burial site with the wrong and with the rich at his death, because he had done no violence, nor was deceit in his mouth. But Yah was pleased to crush him. He laid sickness on him, that when he made himself an offering for guilt, he would see a seed. He would prolong his days, and the pleasure of Yah prospered in his hand. He would see the result of the suffering of his life and be satisfied. Through his knowledge, my righteous servant makes many righteous, and he bears their crookedness, bears their iniquity. He pays for it, right? Look at what we're talking about here. Okay? Does that not sound like the Messiah? Does not sound like the Lamb of God, right? Therefore, I give him a portion among the great, and he divides the spoils with the strong, because he poured out his being unto death, right? That's when he gave up the ghost, right? And he was counted with the transgressors. He was crucified between the two thieves, right? And he bore the sin of many and made intercession for the transgressors, for those people, right? This is your Passover lamb right here. In the Old Testament, it's your Passover lamb. He just had not come yet at this time. But this is who we're working for right now. Messiah, the Passover lamb, whom they call Jesus Christ, right? Who is the Yeshua HaMashiach. The Messiah, the anointed. That's what you're doing it for. And we can get all into the New Testament, and I encourage you to do that. You can go to Matthew, you can go to John. You can go to Matthew 21, you can go to John 20, you can go to Acts 20, all those places. And you'll get an idea of what's going on. Got you some bonus scriptures in there, and that's just a little homework. Do your little study. Okay, just giving you a little bit of homework. Okay. So you look in the description box below, you got the rest of these scriptures, right? I stopped at Isaiah 53. I still have, about 6, 7 verses for you, right? But I want you to work with your family. I want the men out to get with your family, look at these scriptures or whatever, and it's still talking about Passover. And of course, if you have any questions about these particular scriptures, then hey, feel free, comment down below. I'll answer it, whatever. If you have any issues, any questions or anything like that. I'm just here to help. I'm here to get some understanding, right? Okay. Now, I do want to go one place before I let you guys go. You guys still with me? You're not going anywhere, right? So, I do want to go over here to Devarim or Deuteronomy, but I'm trying to go to 14. Here it is. Okay. Devarim or Deuteronomy 14. I'm gonna start at 22 because I want to show you guys like how do we observe, what do we do, that kind of thing. Here's one of the things that you can do, like what you can have, right? We're gonna start at 22. We're gonna read 22 to 26. It says, "You shall tithe without fail all the yield of your grain that the field brings forth year by year. And you shall eat before Yah your Elohim in the place where he chooses to make his name dwell. The tithe of your grain and your new wine and your oil and all the firstlings of your herd and your sheep, so that you learn to fear Yah your Elohim." Okay, so I want to give you all your tithe and stuff like that. Now, I'm telling you this because when you go, like if you want to go to a community or go to a class or anything like that, see what they need, because you don't want to show up and do this thing empty, right? You want to bring something. Sometimes if you say, look, we got all that other stuff. Some of them are going to tell you, hey, we just need some paper towels, some napkins and stuff like that or whatever. But help out any way you can. It's not just for you, but help out for everyone. Okay, it's like potluck, right? Some of them will want you to, bring particular dishes or whatever. Okay, you might be on potato salad. I don't know. But some of them won't do that because they don't know. If you're brand new, they're like, this person might not cook kosher or whatever. They may not know the rules and things like that, right? But see where you can help out. See where you can benefit the rest of the assembly, right? Don't just show up empty-handed. Don't do that. And I'm speaking mostly to the males, right? Don't do that. Because whatever the males do, he's representing his household. So, you can handle it from there, okay? And 24. "But when the way is too long for you," now y'all about to travel to someone's community or travel to someone's land. "If the way be too long for you, so that you are not able to bring the tithe, or when the place where Yah your Elohim chooses to put his name is too far from you, when Yah your Elohim is blessing you," right? "Then ye shall" what? "Give it in" what? "Silver or money, and shall take the silver or money in your hand and go to the place with Yah your Elohim chooses," right? Now, what are you going to do with the money? What are you going to do with the silver? "And you shall use the silver or the money for whatever your being desires." Nothing sinful, but look at what he gives you as an example. "For cattle or sheep," okay? For cattle or sheep, you can have ribeyes, you can have some lamb, okay? You're good. "For wine or strong drink," okay? You can have some wine, you can have some Jack Daniels, some Hennessy, whatever. Hey, it's up to you. "For whatever your being desires," or whatever your soul desires, "and ye shall eat there before Yah your Elohim, and ye shall rejoice, you and your household." And you shall rejoice, you and your household. So, brothers and sisters, that's how you observe it. That's how you put it together. Now you can do this at home on your own. You can start getting other people that in your community who's starting to believe and want to observe and stuff like that. You can do that however you want to do it. It can be done. You're doing it to remember. You're doing it as a remembrance. And I'm stressing it to you this way because, again, you're going to have detractors, you're going to have naysayers. You're going to listen to what thus says Yah, or are you going to listen to them? The choice is yours. I hope someone's got something out of this lesson. I hope someone has been edified. So, until next time, search the scriptures, improve all things. Shalom, Israel.